Nice to see your faces again. Now that COVID's over, it's too bad we couldn't all gather like in one convention center and enjoy each other's company in person, you know? It would be so great. All right, I see Cassandra, Cass is here with us. And yeah, so I mean, you're more traditional than I am, and you know more of the teachings than I do. I'm more of a student. And so our topic is summer and some of the activities that we would do during summer. The one thing I didn't write down was what moon it is in summertime. So I don't know if anybody remembered that, or if Cass, if you remembered what the summer moon is called.
I'm curious if anyone has any of the summer moons that they know from their areas.
Melanie might know her moon.
Which moons are we talking about? June, July, August?
Yeah.
Is it no Mabin right now? Like right now, is it no Mabin?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
So ours for the James Bay Cree area is Sagibagawi Bisam for June, which is referring to the blooming month or the leaves that are budding. I'll give another person a chance to say July or August. Thank you.
Which?
I don't know if they heard me. I think they did.
Martha, can you say it one more time? Zagipaka Bisam?
Sagipakawi Bisam is the slower way of saying it, but we would just say Sagipakawi Bisam.
Yeah, I just in okay. In my chatterboxing. I put it in the chat. Yeah.
Okay, somebody else can do July and August.
All right.
We also have Ode Ikizas. There's a strawberry moon.
All right. Strawberry month. And Melanie, if you want to unclick, unmute yourself. Or did we hear from you? No, we didn't. Hello. I see you.
Oh, there. I asked if it was now Mabin right now. The sucker moon, wasn't it?
Yeah, Mikoyak. So it just depends on the community you're from. Some people might be sugar bush moon, but maybe the Negizas, yeah.
Yeah, because it depends on, I guess, where you're located. Like the further north you go, it would be colder. So not strawberry or, well, I guess it depends on what's growing or what's blooming, right? For instance, the blooming month or the strawberry moon would be in what, June? July? I don't know. And Cass has frozen. That or she's posing for us in a very thought-provoking way. All right. Am I unfrozen? I'm still moving. Is everybody else still good? No, everybody's frozen. All right. I don't know if our tech can hear me. Hello, tech people.
I can hear you.
That's
great.
I can hear
you.
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
I can see everyone.
Yeah, everybody's moving now. They just froze on my screen. So I'm good to go. All right. Let's see here. Zerlene, hello. Well, we talked with you, didn't we?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Jerry.
No? Okay. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. And I love your glasses. Those are
thank you.
I guess, did you have a moon to mention or?
I really don't know because I'm here in Poplar Hill. I don't know what moon is that. And I don't know.
Okay,
this
that's
is
fine.
this is my third year teaching here in Poplar Hill.
Oh, well, thank you for doing that and giving back to the community. All right, what summer activity would the community be involved in during the summer months that you might be able to, take the kids out or students or learn about summer activities?
Actually, they last year they're planning, but because of the COVID, but my principal wants to go to like a camp. We have a education camp here, wherein we were bringing the students there and do some camping activities like fishing and stuff like that, cooking banok,
Okay.
like frying. Yeah, that's most of the time that is their activity, fishing and cooking during the summer. Camping.
Camping is always fun, and it's a real learning experience too. So
I think it's a good land-based learning activity for the student.
Yeah. How many students would you take out on a camping excursion, do you think?
I have 27 students right now.
Would you take 27 students out to a camp? Like, do you have the enough teachers to help with that or volunteers?
Oh yeah, I have actually I have 3 helpers in my classrooms. I have 2 TEs and 1 TAs. And when we go out, the principal usually asks some volunteers to help us, especially the local people,
right,
to be with us.
Right. And I guess in your experience, your school has done this type of activity before, taking that many students out to camp.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
And that is good.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for that. Let's say hello to our friend Flory. Hello, Flory.
Hi.
Nice to see you again.
Yes.
I'm wondering what summer activities would you like to teach the students?
We usually go to one of our community members, their camp. We ask them if we can, use their campsite, as long as they said to clean up and whatever after we use it. Then we said okay. So usually what I do with the youth is before we get in the canoe, we teach them, how to get in the canoe and how to sit in the canoe and paddling.
Right. It took me a while to learn how to paddle a canoe. I just kept going around in circles and it would tip over.
Yeah, my kokum taught me that. My kokum Elizabeth is the one that taught me how to get in, how to sit, and how to paddle.
Right.
So I teach the youth that. And then after that, they want to go fishing.
Yeah.
So we go fishing with the canoe way out, and the rest in the camp, they get ready, set up the tables. They get those Coleman stoves out, or they make a bonfire. They know that we're gonna catch fish. So by sunset, we're back to the camp, and I teach them also how do you, before we get off the canoe, how do you get off? Where do we go from there, and how do you get off? So nobody is falling in the lake.
I would.
Because, yeah, it's already, because it's sunset. So that's what we did, and they wanted to eat the fish right away. So they're scaling the fish. Actually, one of the youth was teaching their own friends how to scale a fish, how to cut it. They were going through the the teachings.
Right.
Then time to fry up the fish. So it was late, but everybody enjoyed it.
It sounds like that these students are bringing a lot of traditional knowledge with them to your camp. So a lot of them have already learned the basics, and
yes.
perhaps we're teaching others.
Right. Yeah. Yes,
And,
they have.
And were they speaking language during this entire process? Because I know Cass would insist maybe that people speak their language when they're fishing or.
Yeah, we were like as the teachers, like the adults. You know, when they grab a knife, or we say, you know, mukaman naman, utin na, pick up the knife, you know, all that stuff. What kinabatan naman shkoteka, wash the stove, you know, all. We were speaking in the language and they were repeating what we were saying.
That's wonderful.
So it was actually, and then before heading to bed, they were cleaning up, you know, the area so no animals would be coming around. Yeah. So it was good to see them, you know, their knowledge also on the ground was really, really good to see.
And was there, I'm going to say yes. Was there always one or two students that showed leadership among the others and led the way, or did they all kind of follow your direction or the direction of another educator?
Yeah, there were about 3 or 4 students that took that leadership, and they would ask, you know, they would ask us first, and we said, okay, go ahead, and then we watch, we observe, and they did an excellent job in doing that, because they were not in any danger of anything. Right. And they also taught how to, you know, handle an axe, where to put an axe, pick it up, you know, how to swing it.
Well, I think what's so wonderful about your experience is that community members would offer up their camps to the school and to the students for use for traditional teachings and land-based education. I think that's really wonderful that we're sharing, you know, what we have to you know, become more educated about our surroundings.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, well, thank you. I'm going to say hello to Nancy. Nancy on my screen is over in the right-hand corner. Hello, Nancy.
Bonjour.
Ah, there we go.
Bonjour, and
where are you calling, or where are you today?
I'm in Thunder Bay.
All right, that's wonderful. And you're a language educator?
Hold on a sec. I gotta turn up the volume. Okay.
All right.
All right. I got it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're in Thunder Bay, and we're talking about summer. Now, what summer activities do you see the students doing in the summer, or what activities have you planned for them in the past?
Summer activities. Don't really do summer activities because of the school ends in June. So usually it's before school ends, we would usually do something like cultural stuff, like cultural activities where you will teach whatever, like geese hunting, and you can teach how to set up camp at your goose camp. And also you make blinds, like where you're gonna sit behind a blind where when the geese are coming, you usually put decoys, make homemade decoys sometimes if you don't have the store-bought ones, so you have to use make your own decoy.
That's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot, and Cass can be the judge. Can you, Nancy, give us a goose call right now? Go.
Oh my God.
A quick goose call.
Uh-huh.
All right. I mean, oh, here they come now. There they go.
I'm not very good at that.
Well, thank you for being a good sport on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think this what you're bringing to light is that it is a challenge for teachers, perhaps to do something during the summer months, because obviously school is out. So that's a very important part. Very important.
Yeah, but part. you can teach about summer. Yes, summer activities like swimming, I guess. And what do you do in the summertime? You go camping and stuff.
Right.
Boating, fishing. There's lots to teach. Yeah.
All right. Swimming is important.
Yeah, and I was just listening to your months there. My months are different from what they were calling the months, like the moons, you said. Mm-hmm. Mango Geesis is May, which is a loan month because that's when loans return. And Wabigoni Geesis is June because the flowers are starting to come out. Abitanibin is July because it's half of the summer. And August is Mini Geesis, berry month. That's, I'll just stop there. That's the months that but I have all the months, yeah.
Wow. See, I'm learning so much here. This is why I like this job. All right, well, thank you so much for that. And I love the background. You've got some sort of an app on. You look awesome. That or the place behind is on fire. I don't know, but it looks good.
Oh, I don't know. It's blurry to me.
Oh, maybe it's my diabetes. I don't know. It looks all fun. It looks good though. All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Pigwet.
Cass, join us here.
Sure. So some of the activities that we'll do is we'll make fish leather from the fish. So we'll take the kids out fishing. We might teach them how to make hooks and what old hooks would have been made of, so specific bones. And then we'll teach the kids how to make a lot of different fish dishes. So things like fish eggs, we might eat those, mix them in with some other kind of seagull eggs. You know, have you ever had one of those eggs? But we'll mix those with other foods. We'll take like a big fish. We'll do jack bladders. So we'll cook fish inside of its own splatters, but we'll just show kids different ways of cooking fish that aren't just frying. So looking at baking and like different things that we can incorporate in it. Then we'll make fish leather from the fish. So we'll show the kids how they can use every single piece of the fish throughout the entire process and what it means to like go fishing and catch it. Some other things we'll do are like berry picking and making like you know what a fruit roll up looks like? I don't know what that, it's like a fruit leather. So we'll make fruit leather and show them how to preserve berries throughout the year. So we might freeze dry them. We could make fruit leather. We can make jams, lots of different things, but staying away from the jam because we put more sugar in that. So we're trying to find like healthy alternatives. My auntie is a nurse, so we do a lot of survival 101. So teaching them what to do if you break your arm, things like that. And then I guess I'll just throw one more activity out there. I don't know where I was going. Oh, medicine. We do a lot of medicine picking in the summer. So we'll bring in specific elders because there's a teaching about not picking medicines for yourself, but picking them for other people. So we want the medicine person to have medicine picked for them too. So that kind of idea of giving and taking, but also each medicine person doesn't know all the plants in the world, and it's supposed to be like that. So we have multiple perspectives. So just things like that. That's what we do in the summer.
Right. But those type of activities, when you speak of medical training and whatnot, that's the type of knowledge that we need 365 days a year, because you could fall out of it. I fell out of a tree twice as a youth and broke my wrist twice. And, you know, if that happens out in the bush, or, you know, if you're somewhere isolated, you have to know, I guess, how to set your bones and look after yourself. So having medical training is something that I never would have thought of as an activity during any season really, but summer, because we're always running around and we're splashing in the lakes and whatnot. And what about swimming? How did our people learn to swim? You know, because I know people that are my age and they still don't know how to swim. And that must be a traditional thing that, that the youth are taught. Summer camps, I suppose. Have you ever been in a camp where they taught swimming? Are the lessons any different than a white man teaching a kid to swim than an indigenous youth? Because it's all basically the same, strokes and floating and kicking.
Yeah, the water's pretty cold up north, so there's a short period of time to swim, but I don't ever remember learning how to swim. So I don't know if that's different.
But you always had the opportunity to learn how to swim, but you don't swim yourself.
Like, I know how to swim. I've always known how to swim, but we don't have any formal classes. Like, your parents just kind of throw you in the water and off you go.
Well, there's a lesson. Yeah. I see in the chat room that we're getting lots of people that love how many moons that we have during the summer months. The wild rice moon, the berry moon, strawberry moon. What else do we have? Oh yeah, the flying moon.
There's a period of a window too where you collect a certain birch bark to make like baskets during that time in the summer. So that's a good thing to do. So we'll cut the Wicopinatic. I don't know what the word is in English, but that tree, Wicopinatic, and make all of the things that tie the birch bark. Those things you weave around it, I don't know. So we do that in the summer, and that's really fun.
All right. We'll go back to Flory. Does this jog any more thoughts on what we can do during the summer to teach the youth?
Oh, well, one time we had a gathering with our youth there in up in the camping area, and they wanted to learn about search and rescue. So we did that, and I said, okay, as adults, we're gonna go out. Give us 15-20 minutes, and as adults are gonna go out and we're gonna go get lost. So you youth, give us 15 minutes, then you can come out and look for us. And so so it happened. So we went out, the adults went out, and we pretending to get lost, but we got to like we got hurt, broken leg and all that. And I told them, okay, when us adults are out there, we're gonna have a broken leg, broken arm, or whatever. And when you come out, I said, I don't want you guys to bring anything like string. You have to get it in the bush when you do find us. And they did come. A whole bunch of them came, and then they finally find us. And I told them, oh, I got a broken leg. So they were saying, oh, Flory's got a broken leg. Let's see what we can find. They look around, and they got one of those long trees there, and they got some birch. I don't know where they got that from. So anyway, they put me up, and that's where they tied me and got me up. And they did that to the rest of the staff. And we were, you know what? We were truly amazed on what they did. That they found things in the bush without. And I was telling the staff, if I ever do get lost, I think I'm gonna hire these students to come and find me in the bush, because they did a really excellent job, in providing and planning. And when we got to the camp, they laid us on the ground, and they
that's awesome.
out. Yeah,
that's something that I wouldn't think of, but yeah. Obviously for first aid training, search and rescue, and back to the medical attention is something.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right. I see William on here. William, are you available to speak with us, or are you part of the tech team? It's my first time hosting a Zoom session, so I'm not sure who's live, but I clicked on William's site. Cassandra loves that.
I would be like, okay, kids, I'm going to teach you how to do this. And then I'm like, come find me. And I'd be worried, just gone out in the bush. No one sees me again. So I love that. You taught them well.
Yeah, that is a fun, something unusual, right? Nancy, I don't know if does this jog anything in your memory as to summer teachings, something land-based that comes to mind for you, Nancy?
Yeah, you can teach about boating and you know how to be safe. I thought be safe, and you can't go out when the storm is coming and all that. Yeah, that
water safety.
Yeah, and also you were saying about swimming. Yeah, how I learned how to swim was my dad had these seat cushions, you know, seat cushions for your boat, and they're good for swimming. You just like hang on to them. That's how I learned how to swim. I just hang on to that thing and I floated with it.
Right.
And I didn't know how to swim before. And then when I let it go, I can swim.
Right. The flutter kick.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. So you can teach about summer safety and all that.
Yeah, I think it's very important as well.
Yeah.
So that's good. All right. Thank you for that. We have 3 minutes left in this session. So Zerlene, do you have anything that has jogged your memory that you would like to share regarding summer activities that the youth might need to know? I see you there. I still see Nancy. Maybe Nancy has to. Oh, there you are. Hello, Zerlene.
Yeah. I'm just talking about the because we're talking about the medical activities a couple of minutes ago, and then you're saying that it's year-round activity. But I think it's a good idea during the summer to teach the students the first aid and the water safety. That's what you're talking about. Like say, if we have an adult that can teach how to swim and how to to rescue someone who's like drowning and stuff like that, it's a good practice. Like for example, if someone is canoeing and the canoe flip off, so someone knows how to teach them how to to rescue someone who flipped from the canoe. Right. I think it's a good summer activity too.
All right, that's a good point. Thank you for that. I see William has joined us. Hello, William. How are you today, sir?
Bonjour,
Thank you for joining us. We've been discussing the summer moon and activities for learning about or different activities that you can teach and learn in the summer months when it's nice and warm. What comes to mind? What did you learn maybe as a youth in the summer that it proved useful?
When I was a youth, berry picking, and in medicine picking we do, and then like gathering as much as we could, foraging in the summer for the winter, and the storage of such, in containers of usually bark containers that we used to use, and then as time processed along, and then we use bottles. Today I think a lot of people use bottles, and then even the paper bag, the old style paper bag. So that's what we did. And then not being a teacher right at this moment in the grade schools, when we go out to my relatives and my friends, I'm constantly teaching language, and they usually tell me, William, can you not speak English with us? They say, teach us. And I said, you got a deal. You buy all the food, I'll be there. So that's what they do. They enjoy my time, and I teach whatever fall time.
Hello.
Bonjour, Manoa.
I left everybody in the dust there. I'm sorry about that. I accidentally clicked you off and I went off into the Ethernet.
Yeah, I think everybody did. Everybody was saying to get off there, had a notation on there, right?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. It wasn't your stories.
Okay.
Here we are.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're going to go back to the main room anyways, right?
Yeah, exactly. So everybody back to the main room. And I'm sorry if I didn't get to some of your stories. Martha is there and a couple other people. But we'll go back to the main room.
You are in the main room.
I am in the main room, of course.
Everybody's in the main room now.
Perfect. Here we go. So everybody's here and I just continue. Is that the deal? I think we're looking for our
Jerry with the review of the sessions.
Oh, okay. And I lead that right away? Or is David going to be here to do that? Ah, here we are. Hello.
Bonjour, bonjour.
Bonjour from the summer group. What a great time we had in our breakout session there. David, thank you so much for generating so much laughter. We had a great time. I'm the one that left the group early, and I left my whole group back in the bush, and they had to come and find me. So that pretty much sums up how I would make out in the summer camp.
So they have to put their tracker skills to use.
That's right. So thank you to everybody who came out to the summer group. And David, did you want to lead this somehow?
Oh, sure. So my group, I was just taking notes as people were typing stuff and chatting. So our group was Bibon winter. So we there's three months of winter. So we picked Kitchimanitogesis, which is the big spirit moon, and our focus audience was going to be the little ones, K to 4. So our season teachings was, oops, there's a duck coming in.
Where's my gun?
So our season teaching was focused for little ones for listening and explaining that Anishinaabe stories, traditional stories are only told in wintertime. So it would be the perfect time for little ones to hear those stories. And some of the other teachings that were brought up was about wintertime when we use snowshoes in some of the traditional areas. People would design their snowshoes with a certain way so that they would be able to identify each other, what family they came from or which territory they belonged to. So that was pretty neat. So it was like snowshoe identification. And our value teaching was about, because winter is like a new beginning, like New Year's. So it's opportunity for different age groups to reflect on what they would like to see in their life in the coming year. And then we started brainstorming our list. We had a pretty big list. I wasn't too sure if we were going to stop. So we had ice fishing for that time, trapping, beaver, snaring rabbits, under ice net fishing, hook and line fishing. Again, teaching young ones fire safety, around the fire, where the stories will be told. Doing some short walks with the little people in the bush, teaching them names of trees, teaching them some basic sewing skills, beadings, working with big beads probably. They learn some stories about sweat lodge, fasting. They get to learn about the drum. And then also, even in the wintertime, where the kids learn about water teachings, winter medicines. With the assistance of adults, they learn how to make or get to watch how to make mittens, hats. Also teachings about winter, the first snow wash, frost scraping, making moccasins, winter growing. We talked about, if it was possible to grow stuff indoors rather than outdoors where it's too cold. Full moon teachings, inside, outside, passage of rites for girls and boys, teachings about the moon time, 7 grandfather teachings. And, but when we got to our last task there, the choose one, we were kind of our focus activity, we were kind of talking about the impact of the pandemic. I put limitations on what we could do in terms of doing a lot of these activities. But luckily, we had one person in our group talked about her experience of using Zoom and going out while the kids, were watched on the screen as she went out to set snares and catching rabbits out on the trails, and showing on Zoom the kids that were watching, learning how to skin a rabbit and cook it. And they said that not only were the kids watching the Zoom activities, there were also other family members tuning in. So that was great. So it was neat to hear that story, showing that adapting to that limitation of not being able to get the kids out, just using technology as best as it can be used. And then we talked about where's the language at, in terms of fluency, some of the issues around discouraged, getting teased, and how we always must be vigilant to keep encouraging positivity in learning language.
Right. So how long was your session? Because we didn't get near halfway here, that kind of stuff. All right, we're going to switch over to Emma. And Emma, you looked after, was it autumn and fall?
Autumn, Dagwagan,
right.
Autumn. So we picked Rising Moon because we think that it encompasses both September and October, which are prime autumn months. And so we came up with quite a good list as well of activities. Our list centers around harvesting. So whether we are gathering the rice, as Rising Moon implies, or we're gathering sap during a hunter's festival, so going out and gathering meats and brought back. So having a festival aspect of also learning how to process what is gathered. We talked about gathering the porcupine quills in autumn because it's better quality, and the dyes for various activities, harvesting the vegetables and learning how to preserve them, as well as preparing for winter, such as preparing fishing nets, repairing and preparing that. So we did focus a lot around the harvesting aspect of fall, Dagwagan. And then also what you do with what has been harvested. We don't just drop the ball there. So we didn't have as clear grade level or specific items as you had listed so clearly and eloquently just there, David. My apologies. So we tried to focus on ricing itself. We thought it would be a really cool activity, although we didn't have too much experience with those who were present. What our group did have is one very connected, Harriet, thank you very much, Miigwech, who shared a link to an amazing resource all about harvesting rice. And it had language aspects and it had all of that built right into it. It was very well done. If possible, could I have Harry share that link one more time in the chat for everybody?
Starting today.
We also talked about seeing what has been done in the past and comparing that to harvesting present. So present, we use big machines and it cuts the rice stalk and it sucks up all the grains of rice, whereas the traditional harvesting, they use very light, gentle tools, collect most of the rice, and you can get multiple harvests of that same plant, which is far more effective and efficient. And it's really cool how much better it worked when you see it as a whole. And that brings me to my next point that we discussed is regarding language. In English, there's generally one way to say a sentence. I saw a duck. Because we use ducks, apparently. The ducks help us find the rice. So using ducks, so I saw a duck, but in the language, animals should come first. So we learned that the sentence order can change. You can say, where did I write it? Shishib Negewabma. So I saw a duck, where the duck comes first, duck that I saw. Or if you do more of a direct translation, it would be Negewabma Shishib. But then we're putting ourselves first. So just different lessons of with nature. So we discussed that, which was really cool. We also discussed the favorite part of all harvests, the eating. So preparing the food. So great language lessons there, where we're preparing the food, but then talking, okay, use this much of this item. And so we're doing the entire instructions on how to prepare the food in the language. And apparently that has been done. And it might be again, maybe. Putting a little hint on my group members that had talked about that. It was, I think, a Zoom sharing initially, and it was, everybody hears, it's like, oh my goodness, that was so cool. So maybe coming again, maybe. So also what was talked about is just the relationship of the different foods that you can make that are traditional foods, more modern foods, and different things. So we just talked a lot about food near the end. I think we're hungry.
Could be.
And of course, ecosystems. So we tied it into science as well, because with rice, we have the animals. We have the animals that help us find the rice, the shishib, and we have the animals that help create the perfect environment for rice to grow, the emek, the beavers. So I think that covers everything we talked about.
Thank you very much, Emma. That's awesome. Seems like you guys covered a lot of ground, and you seem organized. But that probably comes with your professionalism as educators. Me, I'm just an old radio DJ. So thank you to my group. Thank you to everybody for sharing. I see somebody on our chat, Harriet, a visitor to everyone. She says that she's posted a link to language games. This unit has all four seasons with the language games, and you can adjust it to your area and language. So that's on our chat. And of course, everything that you've seen on here remains for 30 days. Our group, we studied summer. We discussed summer and what fun it is for the kids. And I think our target group wasn't the kindergarten, the early childhood students, but kids that were a little bit older. And we discussed different moons, of course. We had a great discussion about moons. A lot of it has to do with berry month. We had blooming month. We had strawberry moon, the loon moon, huh? I like that one. So yeah, we discussed a lot about different types of moons during the summer, and I didn't know that there were that many, but then I don't know much. But anyway, so thank you for sharing your knowledge of the moon from June, July, and August. We had all kinds of discussions. Somebody was saying, first of all, COVID has kept everybody at home for the last couple of years, so that's been awful. But before COVID, and I guess post-COVID, someone mentioned that community members offered up their own camp, their own hunting camp, their own fishing camp, as a resource for schools. So community members, thank you for stepping up and sharing your hunting camp or your camp area to teach the youth during the summer or winter. But thank you for doing that. That is so awesome that we share our property like that, and for everyone to learn. We also learned about, of course, your most typical summer activities, which would be canoeing. We discussed a lot about canoeing and how our elders taught some of us how to canoe properly. Safety, water safety when you're canoeing. Of course, that's important, especially when you're fishing. Safety around fishing. We discussed how to fish, everything from making traditional hooks to using, I guess, modern day hooks, and teaching the youth how to prepare a fish. Catching it and pulling it out of the water is fun, but then they wanted to know how do you scale a fish and how do you cook a fish. And there are different fishes, of course. We've had a good point, I thought, was, yeah, schools out, cultural activities. We had, I think it was Nancy from Thunder Bay, talked a little bit about geese, and I asked her to do a goose call, and she did an awesome goose call. So David, if you see a whole flock of geese flying low around Nancy, that she called them in. Camping and hunting camps, discuss that. Swimming. I asked about traditional swimming, like how did our people learn how to swim back in the day? When I was growing up, of course, we had organized swimming groups, but we had a little discussion about how traditional swimming lessons actually occurred. Cass was part of our group, thankfully, because she had some great ideas about preparing fish leather, how to make fish hooks, fish eggs, a delicacy. We also talked about medicine picking, and that's very important. Birch bark harvesting, that was great. And medical teachings as well. We had a great story where one teacher at a summer camp said, the teachers are going out into the bush and we're going to pretend that we're lost. So the topic was search and rescue. And we're going to hide, but pretend that we're injured. And then the group had to come out and locate them. The group of youth did locate them in no time whatsoever. And they fashioned up a stretcher out of, I think, pine boughs, and then lifted the teachers out of the bush and brought them back. Then they even knew how to set the leg that was pretended to be broken. So that was amazing. Boating, water safety, medical activity, first aid, right? That's what we're talking about. Water safety. And of course, storytelling is so important at any time. But wouldn't it be nice if we were all sitting around a campfire right now with David leading us with some storytelling, and maybe Larry Beardy could pop out of the bush and tell us a story or story is too as well. So that's what we kind of learned in the summer breakout session. So all three of us, thank you so much to Emma and David for doing that. And I'm wondering if David, if you have some words to wrap up your session or this particular breakout session.
Yeah, thought that was a nice group. Got a lot of important topics that we covered and shared from different areas, different different points of view. And somebody had mentioned earlier, you know, your learning never stops, and we're constantly learning. There's always somebody that has, you know, knowledge we're seeking, and hopefully, you know, we can continue on this path of bringing back our original education back to our students, whether they're in the communities or in the towns and cities. And once we reach them, then they can start teaching the rest of the world. You know, this is the original way of how we're supposed to be living on our mother, the earth. So I thank everybody for tuning in and sharing. And miigwech bisindawayak, yeah.